Welcome to On the Beat, everyone. I'm Troy Thompson. Joining me in the studio today is Richard Schwartz and Patrick Wooten from Richard Schwartz and Associates. Now, you've probably heard this conversation before. There's been a lot about it on TV when it comes to commercials. And we're talking about the 3M Combat Arms earplugs. Welcome to the show.
Good to see you again.
How are we both?
Yeah, doing great.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to get to the beginning of this to begin with when it comes to this lawsuit that is happening. What is the main issue when it comes to the 3M Combat Arm earplugs? Why is there a court case?
The main issue is 3M entered a contract with the government to provide earplugs, to provide hearing protection for our service members. And it was determined that they failed to meet the standards as were required by that contract. So unfortunately, hundreds of thousands of service members who use those earplugs in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other training situations have suffered hearing loss and tinnitus as a result of using those earplugs.
Okay, I've often wondered, and I'm going off script here, and you might be able to answer this question for the public. If someone has experienced those issues, how do they know it's from the earplugs? Because it could be happening
naturally. The military
naturally.
keeps great records. I mean, they check your hearing on a regular basis, and so you know you have a hearing loss, or you may suffer from tinnitus with ringing in the ears, or you may experience that hearing loss, but it's not a secret that the earplugs were defective.
Really?
They paid a fine of $9.1 million to the federal government for the defective plugs. Now the civil suits have started. The first trial starts in April of next year. I anticipate a settlement sometime next year.
Really?
But it's going to be a deadline, so people interested or have a problem in the military between 2003 and 2013, I believe is the date.
I was about to ask you, what are those dates?
Yeah,
Just
they
so
had to be
people
in
a little
service
bit
between
clear.
those dates, and if they use the earplugs and they have some hearing loss, they have to act now to make a claim.
I'm glad you're saying act now. What does one need to do if I was within that time limit and having these issues? What's step one for me as a viewer at home?
I mean, step one would be to call us, call Schwartz and Associates, because we understand what the screening criteria is. We're going to be able to identify whether you qualify. And what's interesting is it's not just active duty soldiers. It's National Guardsmen who deployed, like I did in 2009. It's reserve personnel who deployed. So, and it could be Iraq, Afghanistan. You could have been in Kuwait. You could have been, on a training mission, and you're putting those earplugs in your ears, thinking you're going to be protected, and unfortunately, you now have a permanent, issue with regard to your hearing.
So, what would I be needing to bring into you to see if I'm the right candidate to be part of this lawsuit?
It's real easy. Did you use the earplugs between 2003 through 2013?
Right.
And do you have notice a hearing loss? Because that can be measured. There are records in the military when you first got in, and there may be records when you get out, but we can get you to a doctor, or you can go to a doctor and find out the deficiency.
So I don't need to bring medical records in to begin with. That's a process that you're taking care of.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So if I was to come in, I'm watching this sitting at home tomorrow, and I come in a week's time. So the first process is to go through your timeline, correct?
Absolutely.
And then explain to everyone what happens then. How long will this go on for? Is there any guarantee?
There's never a guarantee when it comes to a lawsuit, but as Richard said, 3M's already paid a fine to the Department of Justice. You've got the first trial set for April of 2021, and there are other civil trials set for later in the year, and thousands of lawsuits across the country. But you sign up, we determine how long were you in the military, identify that is this particular earplug that was used. And as Richard said, the military is fabulous that you would have an annual physical, and they would do hearing checks. So you can study your hearing from the time you entered until the time you got out.
Great information, gentlemen. We love it when you come in. You always open our eyes and ears. Do you like that?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
If you want to find out more information, there it all is up on the screen for you. Give them a call. You never know if you are going to be able to be part of this mass lawsuit. Richard Schwartz and Associates. Back after this short break.